Hi guys, happy Monday. All right, so today we had map testing, and so that took up our entire morning. And then in the afternoon at 12:05, when we came back, we went ahead and started math. So if you look at the agenda for this week, we have the same schedule tomorrow. So there is no reading, writing, science, there's no social studies all week, all due to our final map test. So for math today, we started talking about frequency tables, and that starts on page 597, and your independent work is here. So if you notice right here, our lesson is over two different sections, 17.1, 17.2. So the first part, let me open this up here. The first part is all about how to make a table. The second part is all about how to read and interpret a table. So on this first one, you'll notice you have this big data table with a whole bunch of numbers. And they're all mixed up. They're not in order. They're just all kind of scrambled in there. Well, we've created a data table, a frequency table to help us kind of organize that information and to make sense of it. So here you have the title. These are Tony's reading times. So he's keeping a table of a table about the number of minutes he read during a 15-day period. So each one of these represents a day and then the time that he read. Frequency is how often something happens. So every time that he read 30 minutes, he would make, a tally. Then he would read 30 minutes again, he'd make a tally. There were 5 total times that he read 30 minutes. There were 4 total times that he read 60 minutes. Then we went through the chart. We found that the other times were 90 and 120, and he did each of those 3 times. I like to cross out as I go to make sure that each one of these is represented. So if I were to add up all of these frequencies, that should be how many of these boxes I have. Then we went over to page 598 and we kept working on making our own. So this one is about distances walked. So these are the distances. This is how many times it happened. So again, we're starting off with the smallest, so 1/4. So I'm looking for all of the 1/4. There's one here, there's one here, so that's 2 of them. So I'm going to put that happened 2 times. For half, I count all those. That happened 4 times. 3/4, I count all the 3/4, and as I'm going, I see a 3/4, I'm going to mark it off. And that's 1. I see another one, that's 2, 3, 4, and then I write down how many times that occurred. Then down here, we started doing a little bit more of building our own. So here, it gave us the chart, and we needed to fill it in. So this was our the data that we had. So this is all the information that we pulled from. So the title is Time Spent Doing Homework. We're tracking minutes. So we wrote down our minutes, and we're tracking how often that happened. So again, as we get the number, we were writing it down. When I got to the end, first for 30, I put 3. But then I noticed, oh, wait, I still have, this is why I like to cross them out, because I miscounted and I caught myself and I was able to fix it because I was crossing them off as I go. So make sure that you have some kind of, this one down here, I just wrote the wrong thing, but make sure you have some kind of organizational, way of doing things so that you make sure that everything in your table gets down to here. So here, this just breaks it down. We've got title, we've got the columns. You're always going to, like this one up here on top was measuring distance. This one's measuring minutes. The next one's measuring hours. So make sure you know what it is that you're measuring by. And then you're always going to have that frequency column, how often it happened. So we filled out that. Then on this next one, number 2, this is where we made the whole thing. So we put our title, we put our columns, same thing, we counted those. So every time I saw 1/4, that was 1, 2, 3 times. So that happened 3 times. Every time I saw half, which was 1, 2, 3, 4, I put that. 3/4, 1, 2, and then there's there was one time where he spent an hour, or she, one there. So we built our table. Then the independent part on that is on page 602. So on 602, these are all of those data tables. Your job is to build the frequency table. So take this information, count. You're going to start, let's see, the smallest number is 8. So you're going to count how many 8s were used. Then you're going to go through and do the same with the next number that's on the table and make your table, and then look at what it's asking you. So these are all that first section. The second section is more of, okay, now that we have a table, so now we're not drawing them, now we're just reading them. So now let's look at the table and let's pull information off of it. So here, Michael's going around, he's asking everybody the weight of their dogs. He wants to know how many of his friends have dogs that weigh 9 pounds. So you go to the 9 and you go straight across. There were 3 people that had dogs that weighed 9 pounds. Then it says how many more of his friends have dogs that weigh 12 and 13 pounds than friends that weigh with dogs that weigh 10 and 11. So now we're combining some amounts. We're going to take all the 12 and 13s and we're going to add up. So 4 and 2 is 6. Then we're going to take the 10 and 11. 1 and 0 is 1. So if I want to know how many more this is, then I've got to do 6 minus 1, which equals 5. Okay. Then we went over to page 604 and we looked at this one here. This one here is talking about Reagan. She's asking how many people, like how far people live from their grocery store. So she interviews 39 people. And here it says the number of people that live 1/8. So here you go straight across, you find 7. Here it says the number of people that live 3.7 or more. Now here you have to be careful because 3.7 or more, that includes 3.7 and the one that is more, which would be the 4.1. So now we have to take these and we have to combine them to get 12. Then if it says less than 2.4, that means we're not including 2.4 because it's things that are less. 2.4 is 2.4. So to find something that's less, we have to use 2.1, 1.8, and 1.2. So when we add up all those frequencies, we got 15. And then it says how many people drive more than 8 miles? Well, our distance, the greatest distance we have, because these are in order, the greatest is 4.1. So we said there were 0 people for that because there was nobody that drove more than 4.1. All right, then on this one here, number 5 or 4 and 5, we use this table over here. So Jake is asking about people, miles that people have hiked. And so it says how many of Jake's friends hiked at least 2 1/4 of a mile. That would be 15. Step 5, how many more friends hiked 3 miles or less? So we had to go find those. So 3 miles or less includes both 3 miles and everything that's smaller. So we had to combine 15 and 12 to get how much that would be, and we got 22. And then 3.5 or more, we're going to count 3.5 because it's 3.5 or, and then the more are all these numbers straight down that have that greater value. So now we had to add up all of these and we got 20. That's just the first step, is to find each of those. The next step is going back to your question, how many more friends? Well, if you take 22 and 20, 22 is 2 more. Your independent work for this page or this section is on page 608. And here, this is, again, you're using the tables. So the tables are already made for you. You just need to go interpret what they are. When you get down to these multi-step, be careful. You have to find the first amount. So there might be some combining you have to do. And And you have to look, like when it says how many more days did it rain less than an inch, you have to go find which amounts are less than an inch. So that would be the 3/4, the half, and the fourth. Combine those and then go look at, okay, now how much is 1 inch, and then get your answer. Same thing here. You've got some combining going on. Make sure you do that part before you go find out how many are fewer. So once you get all that filled out in your book, then you're going to go to Google Classroom and you're going to enter those answers in quizzes, which is on your classwork here. There's Monday math frequency tables. So go ahead. I've got we got 7 people missing. So go ahead, get those in, and you're just typing in. I put the answer choices, so you're just typing them into that quizzes assignment. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.